Jimiasworld is here, and yes, I am back. Hi, how's it going? Welcome. I am Jimiasworld. Welcome to my universe. We are here to get you guys my top 5 thriller books that got me back into reading, and I am so excited for this. We are at the end of the year, and why not, by further ado, to get you guys these incredible book recs to add to your January 2025 TBR, because yes, I'm here and bringing y'all the bangers. First and foremost, how are you guys doing? If you are new, comment below. I am new. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for all the notifications of every time I drop a video, and let's get into it. So I got back into reading December 2023 when I finished college, and the first book that got me, I went to Target, just decided to grab a book I haven't read in so long prior to that. And the book that got me into grabbing a book, I don't even know why. The cover is not super crazy, but it's something that gave me like a hint of, okay, it made me grab it. And then I read the back, the synopsis of the story, and I was like, yeah. We have, by further ado, one of my favorite authors to this date, Miss Geneva Rose with The Perfect Marriage. This book is supposed to be about an attorney and her husband. Her husband is a writer, and he has published a novel. It did well, worked on the second one, didn't do the best. She is a working bad AB defense attorney, and she is still providing for their family. It's just him and her, no children, and he is feeling kind of like he's not getting his groove as far as being the man in the relationship. There are certain things that they are disconnecting from, and she wants to make sure her career is cemented before she decides to have children, and he believes that it will never happen because he keeps bringing it up to her and she keeps putting it off. Something crazy ends up happening, and she has to defend her husband in the court of law, and it's all getting broken down in here. All the drama, all the tea, all the inner thoughts and workings of both of their minds, and what she thinks and how he is thinking their relationship is going, and how worse it gets as it progresses. This book had me in a freaking chokehold. Let me tell you, one thing that it instantly grabbed me was their relationship was, to me, it was great, but you just don't really know what's going on in someone's mind and how they're thinking and feeling, especially when you're working extremely hard. And the main female character was working so hard trying to get this case complete, so then she can keep going and being the bad AB that she is. She was the top defense attorney at the law firm she was working at, and her husband is a writer, which is not a bad thing, right? He's a writer. He stuck to his preferred profession, but it wasn't going how he hoped it would go. And that's when I was like, this is a male and female complex, right? She's doing great. She's on top of the world. She is essentially doing what society has not deemed women to do, is to actually be the sole breadwinner. And how we have developed in society is the male is the sole breadwinner. He feels like less of a man to me as the book progressed. And it opened my eyes like in a crazy way. But on top of that, it was so entertaining. Like, it was a lot of on-brand moments. And those moments really stuck out to me to the max, to where I'm like, yeah, this book put me through so many different emotions, bro. Like, literally, I was about to throw the book across the room, pick it up, feel sorry for him. Then I was like, nah, bro, he's trash. And then at the end, when it gave me the plot twist of the century, you gotta add this. You have to. It's going to make you upset, but if you stay along on the ride, it is worth it. And this is why I'm here today. Shout out to Geneva Rose. The next book that kept the momentum going as the year began for 2024 was a book that I seen on Book Talk, but it was like a quick little ad, and it didn't give me enough to actually pick it up and read it. So I go to my local Barnes and was like, oh, I've seen this book. Let me read the back. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of relatable to me because of the title. and how many people in all my life, how people just got this wrong constantly. Let me read it. We have That Is Not My Name by Megan Lally. This book is about a young girl who has gone missing in her local town. She has literally tumbled into the landfill and like the forest, and she has forgotten and lost all her memory. The police find her. They try to ask her questions to see if she remembers who she is, like where she came from, how did she get out here, who's her family. Out of nowhere, an older gentleman comes to the police station and is like, oh my gosh, I found you. He has birth certificates, a social security, pictures, the whole shebang. They're asking the little young teen, right? They're asking the young teen, do you know this man? She's like, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, he has all the information, so he probably is my dad. Bruh. This book, when I tell you, was so eye-grabbing and like smooth. Like the writing in this book was phenomenal, bro. Like it was literally a breath of fresh air. Like when you're breathing, like that's how this book was. It literally flowed through each page. It was two different POVs. The girl who's living with her father now, or her supposed father, and the other side, which is the town where they're actually looking for her and blaming the boyfriend that she was dating in school, saying that he did it and that's why she's missing. Banding together with her friends and just trying to find her and save her, in essence, I think. That's Not My Name literally stood out to me because my name is spelled Jimia, and every time throughout my entire existence on this planet, people get my name wrong. I get it. It's confusing. The vowel syllable, like it's a confusing combination, but it's literally gravitated and really caught me because of this. And it was a whole different experience in these pages, okay? This is a YA novel, and when I say this was done so beautifully, Megan Lally is a literal boss, and she is beyond an auto-buy for me. She is that girl, and I will, whatever, I don't even care if she writes for children, I will get it. Then I jumped into a different space that I did not know I was ready for, but you know, you gotta stay ready to get ready. This book is so controversial and so like insane. Like it's literally like mic drop, mute, WTF, look in the wall and like stare into space. This, if you don't know, you know, she is that girl. Miss Frida McFadden with The Teacher. This book came out early this year and a lot of people were like holding off. I decided to jump in head first as soon as it dropped on Kindle Unlimited. And when I tell you, just based on the prologue, the beginning, okay? The beginning. That's chapter 1. The freaking log. Was it yes, it was a prologue. The prologue. Her personality, the main female character's personality initially was insane. It was just like, they're not having a good time already. Like, yeah, I'm in. This was the most craziest, insane, disturbing, thought-provoking, confusing, twist turn. It was twist after twist after twist after freaking twist in this book to where I was like, bro, what's gonna happen at the end? Like, what's the grand finale? And then on top of that, this book did not have any trigger warnings listed, so a lot of people felt some type of way about that with the age gap in this book, and the age gap is like gap, bro. Yeah. You can't even check the trigger warnings because they're not there. It's ridiculous. But I will say this is by far a book that will have you continuing to read. Like, it's a book that's like, oh my gosh, this is so disturbing, but I can't look away type of book. Like, it's so fast-paced and just crazy. Like, I feel like it opened up a conversation of this really happening in real life. Like, Frida, she does that for me. She gives me, like, the real life, fresh fast-paced type of style of writing, and she's like just my girl. Like, I'm gonna, every time she comes out with something, I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna get through her entire discography. But this was the one that I was like, oh, whoever told me about her when I first started, thank you. We have a book that is kind of like mind-blowing to this day, because I am still in shock. I still have not forgotten about the story, the characters, the plot, how it all came in together, how the author was flipping back and then to forward to present and then back again and then forward again, and going to different POVs and characters, and how their lives were contorting throughout this entire experience, and then just going into really breaking down the heart and heartache and pain of the experience they endured. But then being bizarre and like, is this real? Like, what? And then being her debut novel to the world. Confessions by Kane Minato. This story is about a teacher who is doing her last lecture in her middle school classroom. Something very brutal and very tragic happened, and she is delivering her last lecture and speech to the kids she has been teaching for the entire year before she finishes and just goes on with her life. It sounds so like regular, right? Like, it just sounds like, oh, okay, she's just talking to the kids. Like, maybe one of the kids did something crazy, like, whatever. This book is beyond the sizing of it is. Inside of these pages is so complex, so many different personalities, so many areas of, like, your brain, because it literally like switched and shifted the neurons and the chemistry in my brain for me to literally not even care how long the chapters are. And when I say they're long, but you're not going to care because it's so good and so insane to where you're like, I need to read more from her. Like, where's the meat? Was this enough? Is there a book 2? What is she going to do after this is over? It's crazy. It's so many elements as far as children and their personality disorders, living in Japan and going through the school system, parents going through their personal lives with their kids in school and their POV and how they act with one another, what they really be talking about. Because one thing about these kids, they know a lot, more than we believe. Okay? This book is so good. Nobody can tell me nothing else. You can't tell me this book is not good. Period. I don't care. Don't even tell me. Argue with someone else. I will never forget about this book this late. Kane Minato, if you are listening, bravo. We thank you. We appreciate you. And you're that girl. The last book out of this 5 bunch of thriller books that got me back into reading is a book that was initially kind of like, okay, this might be a chill read. Then it got into a detective, true crime, like, who did it, how did it happen, and where is this person mystery / thriller, with a little bit of intro to the horror ghost story essence. The Motel by Simone St. James. This book is about a young girl. She is the niece of another main female character in the story. She is going back to where her aunt was last seen and trying to figure out what happened to her, if she's still alive, why nobody's talking about it, what went down, and she just needs closure. It goes from 2017 with her niece, and then it goes to 1982 explaining her aunt's story completely about what happened, how she started here, what's been going on in her family, when she gets to the Sundown Motel, why did she decide to stay, what's really been going on in this town. It's in Fell, New York, and why is everybody just acting so strange? It is on the tip of intro to horror with very interesting ghost elements. There's a lot of things in here that are switching up things you wouldn't expect as far as certain people in certain law enforcement professions and how they're switching up and making the best interest of people higher than catching the person that potentially did something. Bro, I don't even know how to explain this even further, honestly. Like, this book was so good and just so, like, chilling. Like, it gave me chills, but it made me still want to be a detective and be like, wait, well, maybe this happened, but maybe this happened because she was over here and that's why she decided to do that. And it all just, like, went the completely other direction than I expected. I am terrible at predictions. Like, I don't even bother with predictions anymore. I just let it rock. Like, I let the book vibe out for me and I just let it do what it do. One thing about Simone St. James that I want to highlight and explain is that she's an author that I realize puts things in different perspectives. Like, she'll put it all the way back at the time, like in this book in the 80s, and really give us that feeling and vibe and mindset of that moment and really explain those characters in that essence, and then go back to present day, like 2017, like in this story, and really give us that energy and that environment and that like smooth transition to what's actually happening in present day time. And I love that because it made me feel like I was over here, then I went over there, and really seeing how everything can come and like contort together. And then she just like does bomb drop after bomb drop after bomb drop and make you think this happened. But like, no, really, here's the switch. And make sure you don't read this at nighttime if you're not a horror reader, because I am going to give you something that's going to make you a little bit chilling and kind of nervous and give you some little bit of goosebumps, but still make you question and wonder, oh, why did this happen? Why is this movement going on? Why is that? Like, I will always recommend this book to people who are trying to get into horror. This book got recommended to me. She got recommended to me to get into horror early because I am a chicken. Okay, I don't do the intense horror. I still keep my light on before I go to sleep and while I'm asleep. Okay, I'm trolling. But I definitely will be recommending this book constantly to people who are trying to get into the horror and want to just dip their toe in. That is it. These are my 5 books that got me back into reading. Make sure you guys again like the channel, subscribe, hit the bell for all the notifications for Jimiasworld and traveling into my universe. Make sure you comment below. Have you read any of these? How do you feel about them? Let me know. I want to talk, because one thing about it, these are the ones that really got me here. And if you disagree, we can have a very informative and very positive debate.